So how do you open it out? How do you open it out?
You ground these black one, what is it?
That means you got nothing to do with the homework, man. You gotta take note, you gotta study.
So you get L1, put it on one leg, test L2, L3, and then L3 with 2 and 1. So basically you check all of them. Make sure they're all ohming out at the same ohms. Like they all have to be at 2, or all at 3, or all at 1.
Have to be the same, right?
Then we check the leg for grounding. Because if it's grounded, then that means the whole thing, the motor is
How do you
bad.
check the grounding?
Yeah,
Put the black on top of the motor, and then the other one you test the leg.
That's right.
If there's any
I
grounds.
mean the motor frame. So that's how I check.
1 second. Before you put on the frame of the motor, you have to make sure not on
On a plastic, have to be on
plastic or
metal.
whatever. Or you have to
Scratch it.
scratch it a little bit, so it depends. Sometimes you cannot read it.
yeah. So the multimeter beeps, then the whole thing is down.
Now, you just check on the outside. What about the inside? How do you check that?
Inside,
The ohm on the inside. It's like the with like no wires, right?
The resistance. How do you check the resistance? So you did the outside, L1, L2, L3. What about the inside? Well, they need a little help.
I think we unscrew the cap, right? Was it that one? We unscrew the cap, and we had to untwist the wires.
So that means he said that the motor, it have 3 phase. When the motor is already wired for 460, it have 3 leg, and then other Y is for verify what's voltage. So the 2 Y wires together, let's say 460, then you have 2 and 6 together, 4 and 8 together, like that. So when he trying to testing the resistance, he had to unwire the cap to check the reading. Okay, the Y nut. And after he did that, he will move on to another set, right?
Yeah.
So keep going. I give you help already. So what's the resistance reading on there when you uncap?
There's reading at 3.
Yeah, 3 for the inside, and then 1 ohm for the outside. And the purpose to check it is to see if the ohms are the same.
Correct.
If they're the same, then it's good.
Đúng không Quang? Everybody agree that?
Yeah.
The purpose to check that, make sure the ohm is the same, the resistance is the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do you check the compressor?
The compressor, you put it on ohms as well, right? I believe it's ohms, and then you put one end inside. You check all 3, make sure they're all at the same ohms.
The same ohm, yes.
Yeah.
How do you check the ground?
The
How do you check the
grounds,
compressor is grounded?
Put one inside, and then the other on top.
Top
Make
where?
sure on top of the compressor. Make sure it's
You
on
need
the
to
metal.
On the metal.
Yeah, scratch the
If it-
plastic little,
So if it's beep, what happened?
then it's no good.
Everybody agree with that?
Yes, sir.
If it's beep, that's no good. It's grounded. You don't want the compressor grounded, right? If compressor is grounded, you put one leg on a common or run start. If it's beeping, that means the compressor is grounded.
Shorted.
It's shorted. So you don't want that. Everybody agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Maybe start and run different.
Okay. One condition, I just want you to know. 99%, a lot of people miss this. When you test the grounded, you got to understand why it's grounded. It's compressor head pressure high, the overload switch will trip the compressor, and the compressor will be grounded. You have to wait the compressor cool down to test the compressor grounded. How you going to do that is spray the water or pack ice on the compressor. Let the compressor cool down before you test grounded, because sometimes the overflow is hot. What happened to the compressor?
Represents ground.
Yes, sometimes, right? 50-50.
Mấy cái watt in freezer, cái compressor nó có cái switch mình có thể reset.
Reset.
Có
Yeah.
cái nút để reset.
Chưa, tụi này nó còn cái câu còn nữa.
You in trouble, man.
You're in trouble. So you did the compressor, right? You test grounded, right?
Yeah.
Now, what about the Aeon unit? You see, you took the picture. What's the difference?
The Aeon unit. Yeah.
There's 2 compressors.
Yeah, there's 2. One of them has forgot what it was called.
So let's say if you go in on an interview
Yeah.
and the guy says, what happened to the Aeon unit compressor? And you say, oh, I forgot what it's called. You think they're going to give you a job? Mr. Chow?
Yeah, come back later.
I call you.
You guys agree that?
You can go home and call me.
This is, look, I'll give you a perfect example. Hey, Malvin, how do you out the compressor? Oh, put one leg on the top of the compressor and the other one's on L1, L2, L3, I think. You think they gonna get you in the door?
Nope.
You don't talk to people like that during the interview. You don't think, you don't know, or you don't look at your note. You got to be very, very, very accuracy when you talk to somebody like that. Okay? Because you bust your ass to study, to go to school. So present yourself like professional. Right here is all professional people. Use this opportunity to experience yourself how you learn. So don't take note and go home. Oh, don't worry about me. In the class, I take my note. I look at it like this. Of course, not very perfect, but at least we try, right?
Yeah.
So if you try to remember that when you go interview, what happened? You're very influenced.
Đại anh em anh em ở nhà nha, đừng lo đường nha, mở lớn. Đại anh em mới nấu á.
Chú hỏi.
Bên là quan mới trúng football à?
Đây là mình đại anh em, ok?
Ồ vậy hả?
Ok.
Nhưng mà tôi
Trường tí đi. Dạ, nấu ăn là được rồi. Alright.
ở đây anh mới nấu rồi, học tới 4 giờ chiều.
Okay. So explain them Aeon unit. What do you find out the difference?
Okay. One of them had like a thing sticking out.
There is no thing. Everything have a name. Guys, listen. When you go interview, do not use the term the thing. Thing what? An object have a name,
Yeah.
right? Oh, this is a thing, battery thing? No, you don't say that. That's what I told you. Learn the name. Stick with the name to get a job. Do not say, oh, I know that thing there on AC, but I don't know what that thing is. You cannot talk like that. Be very professional, okay? In this field, you have to remember the terminology. Try to do that. Focus on that, okay? Now, on the Aeon unit, there's two compressors that this folks see, okay? One of them is regular compressor. When it's kick on, it just ramps straight up, okay? And the other one, it have unloader compressor. On compressors unload, it have a loader on the side of the compressor. The purpose of that is loading demand. So if my second stage is coming on, it can ramp up and down. It's called unload compressor. It's low and unload. It's low and low by the temperature outside. Only for the Aeon unit, they does that. Because I install a lot of Aeon unit. You saw it, right? Yeah, because one of my engineers just started my building. He said he has 17-year experience. So he came to the second floor and he said, Joseph, man, that's a piece of trash. The compressor is not working. And I asked him, what's wrong? Look, it looks annoying. And he said, man, that's no good, that's no good. He doesn't know because the compressor is loading up and down by the temperatures. So if you walk to the unit Aeon, if you hear that noise, you have a unload compressor. Unload compressor. Low and unload, right?
Mới đầu cũng không biết đâu.
No?
Mới đầu em cũng tưởng như mà sao lại.
So it happened to you too? Yeah. Now, what else did you learn from after that one?
There's the other compressor that is not loaded. Well, it's loaded, but it's set to a point already. So it's not unloading or loading. It's already loaded.
So when it's certified, it's only running one compressor. But when it need more demand, then the second stage coming on, it's unload and load. Okay? Okay, what about the generator? What you guys did to the generator?
When we check the generator, we put our hand on the heater
Before you
block
run a generator, what do you need to do? That's what I'm
for the
saying.
generator.
Check the block heater.
Before you run a generator, what's the first thing you need to do? Anybody know? Help.
Cut it on.
Before you run, what?
Run the generator.
Yeah, before you run the
You
generator,
have to call the people, let them know you run the.
The monitor company.
mother company.
Okay. And
And next step, what happened? What's the next step? Before you run the generator, remember, you run the generator, you disturb people in the building.
Put a bypass.
He said, call the people, put bypass. What's the next step? See, the only people who work in the field they know. See that? You guys don't know. You've been there that day, but you just forgot already.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Check the flock heater.
The first thing, you check first, right?
Yeah.
And what else?
Check the oil.
Check the oil level.
Yeah.
What do you check out?
And
Check the B,
the beat.
the B, battery.
Oh, the battery. Yeah, battery.
Battery, check
Okay.
the bar, check the...
And the hours that it run.
Make sure the hour before, right? You take the picture of the hour before generator. What else you need to check? Be you engineer. All you need to check the basic, okay? Before you run the generator test every week, okay? There is a ticket for that. It's called PM ticket. The ticket will give it to you. You look at the ticket, SOP. What's the SOP stand for? Procedure. So the ticket have procedure. You need to follow that procedure. Step 1, verify equipment first. Step 2, notify somebody in the building. Step 3, bypass the system. Step 4, notify all the facility manager. Step 5, check the temperatures, block heater, check the battery, so on. Okay? So follow the SOP on the ticket. Okay? If somebody asks you about how do you run generator weekly or bi-weekly, if you don't know how to answer correctly, and follow the ticket SOP. Whatever say on there, I just follow it. That's the guideline for me to run the weekly generator or every 2 weeks. Okay? If I follow the SOP on the ticket, I have no problem for my boss. If you don't know how to answer all this right here, just narrow it down to one main ticket. Because everything you do in a ticket, you have ticket.
The 5 pump.
Fire pump. What did you learn about fire pump? I took you down there.
Yeah. It was connected to the drip drum, right?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. You look at your audience is your manager, your product manager. You look at me, that means I give you answer. Don't say it right.
You can look the camera out.
So look at the camera.
Condensation, it build up water in the pipe, so we have to release it with the drip drum.
Release it. How you release it? How you blow down the drip drum?
You close the top lever to make sure no air pressure gets out. Once you close it, then you can release the bottom lever slowly because there's a lot of pressure in there and blow out all the water.
Say it again.
So you close the top lever, then you slowly release the bottom lever to release out all the water and the air pressure
From where?
from the drip drum.
Cái này
Okay.
ăn lạnh ăn nóng ta?
And then once you're done, you close the bottom
Ăn
and
lạnh
then
ra.
open the top.
Anh ăn lạnh được không?
Why don't we open both valves at the same time?
Because then the
Hôm nay hot line
air would
The air
just
from
start
around.
pushing out.
Yeah.
Nó thuốc anh em chết nhiều.
So, okay, that's what
Quên còn
we
nữa.
tested. But before we test it, we have to look at the pressure by the compressor.
Yes.
This have how many pounds for?
This is how I do mine.
Can you see the one with
Okay.
between dry pipe and wet pipe? It have the valve right there, right? What valve? How is that valve work?
It's on auto. So it's set on auto, right? It's on auto. So when you release the pressure, the air comes out, and the system makes it rebuild the air.
No, it's not on auto.
No.
The one on the top, inside that valve, it have the flapper. Okay. The one on the top is air. The one underneath is water. The one on the top is hold like that because the pressure of the air to hold it. The one at the bottom, that is the water. Whenever we lose the air pressure, the flapper valve open and the water gets through. If we test the drip drum, we open both valves at the same time, we lose the air pressure, and this happens. And the flapper gonna open, and the water gets through. Alarm go off because of the flow switch right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, only one by one.
Why do we blow down a drip drum in the garage? Why? What's the reason?
To release all the condensation or moisture, water in the pipe.
Why?
Why?
It's a dry pipe system. So if the water is in there, it could freeze up during the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very beautiful. Okay. Alright.
And talk louder, talk like when you interview, we do it like that because we don't want it freeze and it bust the pipe.
What's the pipe?
Yeah.
Don't talk too soft when we talk with them. Now you have to learn how to talk. Not this thing, not I think. You don't say I think. I think 50%, so they don't like it.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. So, Mr. Charles said that when we go interview, focus on the name of the subject we talk about. Okay? And I told you already, pick one strong field that you're in. Plumbing, pick one subject. Talk about plumbing. That's how I do my building, sir. Okay? If you ask me about outside, I'm not done that before, but I done it in my building because you honest to them. You focus on one subject. Okay? Now, what else do you learn beside that? How about fire alarm system? What would you do?
Fire alarm system, you bypass it.
Why do you need bypass?
To if you want to do PM on the speaker system or the pull system, or the sounding, the alarm, or the flashing.
So in other words, he bypassed when we're working on a fire alarm system. Do we need to notify somebody when we bypass?
Yes, you need to notify the
Monitor company, right? And who? And then do you need approval to do that? From who?
Chief engineer.
The chief engineer. Okay? Now, this two guy here, he's been on one day, so I don't expect him to know a lot of stuff.
That's a lot.
But that's a lot, okay? I'm bang on hard on them because I have a reason. I want them to know versus it's stuck in the middle in the bill because chance very hard when you come in the bill, when you have it, you can grab it. You gotta be focused, okay? Now, let them demonstrate. The first thing is demonstrate them. Explain to them how this thing works, the first thing, okay? How this three thing work, okay? Go ahead. You know the name of it?
yeah.
Okay, what's the name of, what's that?
This is the inside assembly. This is the electronic module. And the solenoid.
The solenoid, okay? Demonstrate them the solenoid, how they work.
So the solenoid, you would twist it into the inside assembly, but you gotta make sure it's only hand tight, because if you tighten it too much, then it won't send the power to the.
There's no
electronic-
power.
Or the what is it?
The relay.
Remember Juman explained to you? He's right there. Remember, look at him.
Magnetic field.
Electric.
There's no electric.
Electric.
There's a little pin pushing here, bang, okay? It's when this thing release, it hit the diaphragm, it flushed the water. But go ahead and demonstrate him. How do you make that noise? Okay? So he gonna hook it up.
Batteries.
He gonna put it in battery. Now explain to them how the battery goes too.
Oh, okay.
Anybody got a screwdriver? Anybody got a flat screwdriver? Right here. Guys, pay attention to this. This thing right here, I have several engineer all my year experience. They take 4 days, 3 days, 2 days to complete one job of this. If you don't believe me, there's some people like that out there. Take them 4 days. Cannot fix this if you don't know. It's very basic, but you don't know, it takes you forever. You end up replace everything. The problem is this, but you end up replace everything. Why? Sometimes the problem is this, but you replace this. It's not right. And this is very expensive. I got a guy in my building, how many days is it? Took him 4 days. He still not figured out the problem. What made you think you know? Okay? I want you to focus on this right here. If you become a building engineer, you need to know how this works. What is the name? What is component name? And how you troubleshoot each component when it's not flushing? Okay? Sometimes problem with the vacuum breaker, but you replace the battery, replace the modular. This modular here costs about $315 now. And the guy who will replace, he throw it away. He pick up from the trash and fix it. $315. But you know what? I told my manager, hey boss, look like we have one guy that we have no more plumbing supply. He replaced everything when there's one thing broke down. Guess what my boss said? Document that. Put on the ticket. So if he help him, he gotta put his name on the ticket that help the another guy. Because if you cost them a lot of money to repair, they don't like that. Okay? Remember, they hire you to save money, not to
spend money.
Go ahead.
And remember one thing, Vietnamese building engineer different with American building engineer.
Yeah.
Because we know a lot, we know general thing, and they know only one or two things.
Okay.
We know a lot, YouTube too, right? Go ahead, put together, test it. Okay, he gonna demonstrate. In order the modular valve flushing, you need to hear the relay energized. Okay? If the relay is not energized, there's two reasons. Either this thing here, inside here, is too wet. If it's too wet, it's no good. Inside here, it have a pin, like a propane, okay? If this thing here is worn out, it went through this hole, it's clogged up this piece. Now this piece would never clog up, right? But it is, it happened on him. It's clogged up. And it took us a while to figure out. We took it out, we blow with the air. Both sides, but it's still not working. So I order a new piece, I give it to him, he put it in, bam, it's flush. So this little tiny hole here, sometimes it's clogged up because cục than trong này nó bị mòn, nó bị dơ á, xong nó bị bể á, and it go inside this pinhole here, cause. But if this thing here have water inside, it will not flush. So make sure inside here is dry, no water. Okay? When you put this thing on, make sure there's no water. Okay? When you put this thing on, make sure this thing stay like this. Sometimes you have to look inside. Make sure there's no double O-ring in here. It's only one. Okay? This thing you can screw it out. Okay? Look at this. See cục than. This thing here, it's not pushed in. Dặn nó vô. Okay? It have a thread. If you push it in, you mess up this thing. It will not work.
Anh Hùng giả sử như cục than nó mòn, mình có thể đỡ cục than không được không?
Được, mình nói được. Overall được cái kit. Nó có bán cái kit.
Cái ba cái kia nó có 2 đồng mấy.
2 đồng mấy.
Cục than với cái string.
Okay. Mà cái này cái simple nhất nhưng mà a lot of people fail. Okay.
Cái cục đó mình mua 7-80.
Go ahead, demonstrate it.
Mình mua cái cục than.
So now he gonna put it on and he gonna energize this thing here. There you go.
So you use some batteries.
What you need?
The resting plate?
Right here. You don't need that. You don't need that now. Just put it and demonstrate. If you use a channel lock to tight that, you mess up.
Yeah.
Don't use that. Only by hand.
You got it right.
Hand tight.
You got it right. Yeah, you got it right.
Now, if you go to the restroom and you take the leak, you remember you travel for 3 hours, right? You have a rest area. If you stand there, take a leak, and then you turn around, it's not flushing, that means something wrong with that, okay? You got it.
See now.
Is it flashing?
Yeah.
Splash.
Test it. Yeah, test it outside. See.
See that?
Okay, that one.
You hear anything?
Not yet.
You hear anything?
Miss you, you got
Coi chừng dính cái
Okay.
No, it's just automatic.
nó có cái brand.
That's a sub. What I Ngoài đứng gái này. Ngoài đứng gái.
Nó tại vì mọi người đang đứng nhiều quá. Tính
nó kêu lớn, nó kêu lớn.
tính ra.
Cái đèn thấy nó chậm chậm.
Lên plus.
Có lấy cái cục hương dài gì. Chắc đeo cái cục hương dài.
Nope.
Move that metal right there in front of it.
Ba cục nó cái đèn thấy bị giấu hết rồi. Bởi vậy không có cái
Okay, it's not flushing, guys.
Take them out, yeah. Test it out. Yeah. Try hoài á. Đừng có bỏ đi đâu.
Okay. We screw it back in. Okay. We want to do it from the outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Test outside mà nó work là nó tụi đó nó work là mình dặn nó quá thai.
Does that work?
Yeah, man, get away.
Gặp bắt mắc cỡ rồi đâu có chịu chạy.
Chấp đẹp.
Good, guy, let me see. Pay attention. Chấp không?
Chấp có chấp đẹp. Mình đỏ.
What happened? Reset the light. Open the battery again and reset the light. So we're working. This is a brand new one.
Defected.
No, it can't be. Okay. Reset the battery light. Open the reset the light. Okay. Before you put this back in, make sure the relay energize. If energize, you put it back in, you waste your time to put it in there. Okay. So it's very important.
Nếu người có đi
Trời ơi.
Come out.
Hình như nó không có.
Nước dây nó phải.
Oh my god. Bây giờ bỏ nó lại.
Dạ, nó thốc nữa.
Giờ đâu có dính nữa đâu, giờ phải.
cái này là capital hết chứ hả?
Nó không được bằng cái dây điện nó có nhét vô.
Maybe that's the problem.
Để tước dây nữa.
Nước dây rồi. Okay. It's not going to work if this thing is broken.
Lấy cái nhíp á, lấy nhíp vô lại.
Yeah.
Tước cái đầu nó tí.
Nhét nó lại.
Chú hồn.
Nhét vô này.
Tước cái đầu nó tí.
Không đừng có tước vô. So you see where he just made a mistake? When he unplugged it, he don't know how to unplug it. Okay? He pulled everything out. You gotta be very gently when you get things small like that. But go ahead and put together with that. Go ahead and put together.
Anh Hùng, hạt cái này tên gì anh Hùng? Cái gì?
Okay, what is the name of this guy?
Right, I don't know.
Sensor?
No, how about a automatic
Slow.
assembly?
No, slow valve.
Slow valve. Automatic slow valve.
Automatic slow valve, that's what it's called.
Wait,
Okay?
how do you spell it? Slow, whatever.
Right there, work right there, slow valve.
Lon giống như
Oh, chứ lon.
loan người ta.
Automatic.
Put it together.
Thay cái này vô.
Go ahead and put together first.
Em đi lại. S-L-O-A-R-N.
No, không có.
Chứ lon, chứ lon. Ok, rồi. Xong rồi, biết nó là gì chứ.
Đó, slow nó.
Đúng là toilet man.
Say slow, slow. No, man.
Slogan. Get that slogan.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Slow.
Slow in.
Yeah, okay.
Automatic slow valve.
Long run.
Oh, okay.
Cái này automatic ở sau này, chứ trước kia nó có cái handle.
What do you call this?
Diaphragm.
Huh? Diaphragm, either closet or urinal. Okay. What do you call this?
That is a
Something opener.
Sloan valve tube opener. Okay. Sloan valve tube opener. Why do they use a string instead of use channel lock?
Because
Don't want to mess it up.
you don't want to.
This is chrome. Okay. You cannot use a channel lock, guy. You gotta either use a monkey wrench straight, no T. They sell that. The tool. Okay.
Ủa, cái đó là bán chung hay bộ hay là riêng?
Bỏ luôn.
Bộ này mắc lắm.
Giúp đỡ đó.
I don't thường mua mấy cái cho mình nó they tell you like you know which part to put it together, right?
Yep. The diaphragm right here.
cái ghế ngồi.
I learned that like go. It works.
Cái ghế ngồi hay cái ngồi đi theo.
Do something
Thì nó dưới nồi.
Anh thấy vậy là nó bán đồ gì nó cũng có ra để mình lắp ráp vô.
Được rồi phải không? Được rồi. Good rồi nè, bỏ cái lại nè. Cứ bỏ cái lại. Bỏ lại.
chứ đừng thay nguyên
Okay. So this is how. This is where you stand leak. Now đang đứng đá trước mặt. Okay, cái sensor picked up. Okay. This right here is shut off valve.
con này vô à
This is the cap.
There's a screw
Now.
set up open.
If you want to replace this, all this right here, you gotta use a screwdriver, shut up the water right here. Lock it. Lock in the water all the way locked. And now you can disconnect this. Either replace the battery or the sensor or the vacuum breaker or the solenoid. Okay?
That shut off valve.
This wrench here, they go in here like this. Use this.
you go find the main
On the main valve.
Okay. Use this to open it. Now, before you open this, right?
cái chỗ cái main giống như ở nhà mình có cái main chính vậy đó.
You gotta shut up the water first, okay? But there's a pressure in here. You cannot use this. So how do you release the pressure? When you shut the valve off, push the button.
Yeah, flush it out.
Flush it out. There's no pressure in there. So right now you can use it and remove it. Okay? Tight this way, reverse. Okay? Turn around. Just you both way. You gotta use this. They don't like you to put any T right here. They don't like you to put a channel lock T right here. It look if you go to the building, I noticed this. When I go for interview, the first thing I go to the building. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I go to the building. I don't go to interview yet. I got there early, 15 minutes. The first thing I go to the restroom. Why do I go to the restroom?
Take a piss.
Take a pic? Believe whatever it is. I look at this first. I look at this. If this thing is no mark, no nothing, I know this building here is what? The engineer is very
Good.
very good.
Right.
I prepare myself. Okay? I prepare myself right away. Oh man, I need to talk very professionally because when I look this valve, there's no mark, no nothing. So the chief engineer here, he's very picky. You see the little thing like that, it helps us a lot when you go interview. Don't go too straight to the building and hey sir, can I go to the restroom first? If you go in there, you see a sloppy door or you know the chief engineer is very lack of a lot of stuff. Then it's easy for you guys. But you see something like this, you need to talk to them professionally. When you see this, your interview change everything.
Your A game.
B plan. You gotta talk professionally. Oh, I need a proper tool to work on the restroom because I don't want to scratch any valve. Man, if you say that, the guy said, oh, how do you know that? I'm very picky. Even though you don't know nothing, but you mentioned about the tool, you don't want to scratch the slow valve. This chief engineer will give you opportunity. I don't care what you know, but I will teach you. You already care for my equipment. I like you. Just like walk, you go interview, the guy don't ask nothing.
Yeah, don't have enough.
Because look at his face.
Pretty.
Right? Yeah, pretty. Okay? yeah. So when you install this, When you install this, what happened? It goes this way, face that way.
Không bao giờ xả, neverless. Con nói là ngay mà đi à.
Những người nó bị u bẻo à.
But what about this way? You gotta be straight.
You will be straight.
Okay? So this thing, you can hold it and you can tight. Okay? Now, what happened? What happened when you shut the valve off? Right here? And the water drip out from here. Lên lò go. The water drip out from here. You shut the valve off, the water drip out. What happened?
Maybe the O-ring, whatever, the ring inside.
Yeah, it's called, this right here, what you call here?
Chất đầu vào.
Stop valve.
Stop valve.
Okay? So there's a valve here, it's a stop valve. So the O-ring is gone, you need to replace it. You need to, how do you replace it? You have to coordinate with the building manager. You say, I need to shut off the whole floor to replace the stop valve. Because the stop valve, the water feed right here, and it's tied to a large toilet. You cannot shut down one and replace. When you replace the stop valve, guys, I mean you shut out the whole floor. So you need to drain the floor. So the best time to do this, when you change out one stop valve, you might change, how many in there change one time?
Maybe some building is different. Like when I work at the all the building, every toilet have single valve.
Wow, that's good. Huh?
That's better.
That's very good. But
That's better.
Like the building me, you work right now, one valve.
Yep.
One valve control.
Not too many
all
buildings like that.
building.
Yeah.
Open this again.
After hours, right?
So that very
No,
I mean like
a normal hour.
it's a normal hours.
Yep.
After hours.
Open it and then put the
Cái
relay
người
back.
khi nào mà xây cái stop vào á, cái stop vào này nè. Cái đó là phải train building luôn.
Train building.
Còn mấy cái này trên đây làm. Đúng rồi, cái đó mình làm được.
Không mình thì sốt đầu mềm như của mình hai cái.
Trên đó là một valve.
Make sure là mình phải schedule
Okay.
cái thời gian trước, rồi mình put cái note outside the door của cái restroom. Không thôi là nhiều bà vô trong mấy bạn ngồi xong cái không có nước là
Đúng
khóc.
rồi. Ngay
Thường là mình cho mình schedule at night mà.
Okay. You see this right here? Be careful with this O-ring. Okay? The flat side has to be going the bottom. Okay? Press around. The flat side go in the bottom. Press around.
You know the penny trick?
Yes. Let's do this again.
Cái valve
Nói chung thì theo cái building nữa.
cái valve là cái nước ở cái sinh trong
Gài chẳng hết.
xài cho nó cũng có. Thì mình phải giáo
You took out the battery.
Hey Joseph, you know the penny trick?
ai làm
Cái nào mình tháo được là nó có.
Mình phải thấy cái bao.
Reset the battery. Okay, this O-ring here, where it go?
Trong cái này là nó quan trọng.
Look, it's very important. This is the vacuum breaker. When there for 2 years, this thing here is clogged up. It's swollen. When it's swollen, it will not flush. But when you replace this, make sure you put the plastic in here, ring, and also this ring gotta be going here. If you don't put this, it's gonna have a leak. So a lot of people, I found out they don't use this, the gasket.
So we have to use them.
You have to use them.
It's happened in NIH. This one is broke, and the plumber put a new one in. The broken piece,
Still in there. Oh, go around.
no, it go inside and it see the toilet. It stay not outside, but it stay inside where the water go, and it block right there.
Xì nó bị đó.
Yeah, and every time they flush it, after they replace the new one, every time they flush it, they don't have enough water go to the bowl and loud noise. Ooh,
Let me move now.
they don't know what's wrong. Finally, the chief over there, he doesn't like me. Hey, you take care of that.
Nó bị bể.
Hey,
I went up there, I disconnect everything. I took the bowl, put on top of the table like this, look inside, and I found a piece, the broken piece of this. We have 3 holes, right? So it's block 1. That's why we don't have enough water, and that's what make a lot of noise. So remove that one, put everything back, it's work.
hey, well, what's your chief's
It's
name?
not working. Man,
Not anymore. They kick him out.
Oh,
you were in
NIH before?
Yeah.
Yeah, contractor in building 10.
You
That's
know-
the big building.
You know, what was that? 5601.
No.
this
No.
is the guy you can talk to.
The guy named Demetrius.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
Demetrius Mellis?
Mm-mm.
You know Brian Roach?
Brian Rowe.
What?
Brian Roach.
No.
Hoàng.
He must be a different
No.
contract.
Bỏ này lại nè.
I'm on the contract. I'm working in building 10. So
Building 10.
yeah, now they
Thằng đỏ bên này.
they took that building back.
Này, 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 này.
Who your contractor?
Ủa sao nó có đèn?
CBS.
DBS.
Trong kia đèn nhiều
Ok, bỏ lại không có đâu. Bỏ lại.
Nó đi ngược.
Mình đem như này.
Nó đi ngược. Cái này nó đi ngược thì nó cũng kêu cái tích chứ.
Không kêu.
bỏ lại.
Bỏ lại.
Lấy cái 2 con dây ra này xây nó.
Put everything back in there, the part.
Đỏ bên kia.
Rồi thấy không?
Make sure-
Anh Minh, anh Quang thố rồi, thử coi anh biết thiệt không á. Anh biết thiệt anh Quang, anh Minh anh biết thiệt á.
Cái slow valve này á, là họ bắt đầu khoảng hơn